on here for another episode of Fearless Flight Live. We've got some new co-pilots here today. Our two regulars bailed out on us. Eric is off playing in the water again. He's a big scuba diver, and Diane is got to fly tomorrow. So she thought that sleeping was more important than hanging out with us today. We got to get her priorities up. But anyway, so we're happy to have you here tonight. And as always, whoops. That's not what I want to do to see. Okay, I'm just getting my act together here, which maybe is a full-time job. I hope. I'm still.
Yeah, you're sharing. I can hold on. I'm gonna just.
Yeah. Okay. Stop that. Oh, yeah. Okay, back to not sharing. Or is it still sharing?
No, we're not. I don't know. I'm not seeing a share right now.
Okay, good. Okay.
I see a sheriff. Or
I do not know what's we're having some fun on the internet tonight. So let me get the right one here. And okay. So this is the place to go if you're afraid to fly, or somebody's afraid to fly. And we love having you. We love your questions. So if you've got a comment or a question, please leave it in the remarks there. And whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching the replay, we like to make a shout out to our invitation to join our Fearless Flight Birds of a Feather Facebook group. We're up over 1,200 plus right now and growing. We'd like to, the more the merrier. It's a great place for people to meet other people who are in a similar quest to overcome their fear of flying. And you can both get and receive help there. Tonight, we're going to talk about something new and exciting to us, our Fearless Flight membership. We think this is the direction that we've been wanting to go for a long time, and the combination of the pandemic and COVID kind of led us down this road that we were trying to figure out when and would be the right time and how to do it. And we think we're there now. And so Dieter's been working real hard this past month to get this ready. And part of this is we want to advertise that we have our monthly live group coaching call coming up again on this Thursday, just 2 nights away. And the theme is going to be, I know flying is safe, I just hate feeling trapped. That is the dominant expression of the problem that most people have. And even if you have fears about the airplane's reliability and all that, it seems that everybody ends up here. And of course, it's when you look at its roots, it's all rooted in pure anticipatory anxiety. And we have some special guests. Those are the people on the thing. These are people that we went flying with over the weekend. This is the cover shot of the group coaching or the monthly live coaching call that we have, and these are the things you want to just talk about this, Dieter, and you highlight the benefits and everything, and tell them what it's about.
Yeah, sure. So for all of you, you expect and hope that your pilots and your flight attendants, that they are all current and that they keep up with training. And one of the things we heard the most, especially during the pandemic from you, was that most of you didn't fly enough in order to keep those skills and the tools and the strategies that we're teaching as close and as present as you'd like. And so over the last couple of months, we thought, okay, it makes sense for us to offer the monthly group coaching webinars, and also continue with a continuity program, a membership. And so we decided that we want to offer 2 types of memberships. And the first one is the premium economy, where you get access to the monthly live coaching calls, but you also get access to the Putting Mindfulness into Practice 101 course. That's an audio and video course. And then you also get access to the How to Overcome Fear of Flying 101 video course, which is a course that we just finished not that long ago. It's actually filmed live at the Air Hollywood studios. And so this is we feel anyways, a way for you to stay current, stay connected, and get access to a lot of the things that we offer. And if you consider the first class, then you also get the Flight Deck Confidentials, which are audio programs where Captain Eric and Captain Ron together talk about the whole progress from leaving the gate, getting on a jetway, getting into the plane, and then taxiing, takeoff, what's happening in the air. And so we got the first 2 volumes available, and you have access to all of this for as long as you are a member of either one of these tiers of our continuity program. And then of course there is an option to get it all for one payment and have it for your lifetime or ours, whichever comes first.
Hey, I resent that. I resemble that.
Well, that's a good thing about being a team, right? So we got a lot of life left between the two of us. So, but you also get access to the Cleared for Takeoff 201 course and the Fearless Flight Kit. And what makes this lifetime VIP package particularly interesting for you is that you also get 2 60-minute coaching calls, which is $400 value per year. So they kind of like reset, which means for 2 you already have those included as well. So we're not quite ready to launch it live. As a matter of fact, we don't even really have a name that we feel all that comfortable with. So I sent an email out to our list earlier. You may have gotten it, may not have gotten it. I'll put the link in the chat in a second here. If you want to help us choose our name, I don't know, Ron, if you can
yeah, I want to bring those up.
Get there or not, then we would love your help with that. And if you'd like, we enter you also into a draw for lifetime VIP membership. So we're gonna do the we'll do the draw on November 1st, which is when we're kind of shooting to go live. But in the meantime, here are the options, and if you don't like any of them, we also have an other field that you could click on and you can give us your own idea. But these are kind of like the names that we have come up so far. And yeah, so that's everything I have to say about our
the highlight. The key to this was Dieter and I have always felt that we've always treated this, at least I have, even before Dieter got involved, I've always treated it, the parallel between being a pilot and the training that we go through to stay current and everything. And if you're trying to overcome and just be a passenger and overcome your fear of flying in the back, there's a parallel for those. And that is that, it's not a, you're never done with your training. You're certainly not done with your training as a pilot, because we have to go in the simulator at least every 9 months. And so as a passenger or as a fearful flyer, what I found over the 35 years I've been doing this is first I would notice people get all up and prepared and go fly, but then they come back and depending on how much they fly, it kind of resets. And so my goal has always been to teach them a process that they can, once they learn it, that they can use that to stay current, if you will, and keep themselves comfortable flying. And so that's the value of this. And when you click on that site there to go over there, you're going to see Judy Buller, who's one of our longtime clients. And Judy is one of the people that has been a real stalwart supporter here. And I asked her to share her comments about how this affects her, and so she did that, talking about how she's found it very useful to stay connected over the time. Because when we got this new platform, which doesn't mean anything to you all out there, but when you get emails from us, when you see web information, when you see register for classes and things like that, it all comes off of a platform. And when we found this new platform earlier this year, Dieter found it in his research, we decided to switch over. So that's why some of you, if you have an old link to the Fearless Flight Kit, it may not work. And so you just contact us and we'll get you over on the new one. But the platform is what allows us to do this, to organize the information. It's an informational driven platform, and it also has an app with it. And that's the beauty of this whole thing, is you can do all this stuff through the app. And we're just constantly adding new information. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight with Jim a little bit. He's going to share with us some of his thoughts about flying this past Saturday here. And then of course we're going to invite everybody in the group to do that, to talk as well. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, if you see any questions coming in there, Peter. Otherwise I will.
No, I'll just Jeff, I'll send the link as well. Jeff says, I can't see the lifetime VIP, but sign me up, please. So what I forgot to mention, by the way, is that until we go live, that first payment is actually 50% off. So just because, we're not fully operational yet, but we wanted those of you who want to take advantage of it, definitely give you a break there as well for your support. And so between now and October 31st, whether that's a lifetime, which 50% off sounds really, really good, or just the monthly or the annual membership, they're all 50% off. For the subscription is for the first payment only, though, not for life. So
it reminds me of the book launch. And those of you who have faith enough in us we did a pre-launch before we even had the book published, and you all helped us achieve 7 categories of bestseller in Amazon, and that was amazing. And that's the way the game is played. The more traffic you can drive to a particular site, the better that Google remembers, hey, there must be something there for people that sell people. So you're helping us, and you'll be helping other people find us as well. So anyway, all right. So let's talk about the flight Saturday. These are 4 of the people that were there. Tom is here. He joined us as a mentor. Oh my God! And he's on patrol there. He's got his sheriff's badge on and all that. So I don't know if we should. Can you get in trouble if you have an accident while you're giving a testimonial here, Tom?
Actually, I'm on the way to work, so I'm starting work in 15 minutes. So. Not on in 15 minutes.
Tom flew with us for the first time a year ago, June, and it was literally an up and down experience for him. And so he felt better after flying with the class, and then he tried it on his own and had a couple of bad experiences. And so it was up and down. And then what was it? Was it like April of this year, Tom, or was it June? Maybe it was June.
Yeah, that was June. That's correct. That was in June. Yes.
Yeah. And do I have this right? You came over. I remember the last time you came here, June. I think you flew with Wendy. Was it then that you flew to Miami just spontaneously, or did you go home and then fly to Miami?
I flew to Miami before going to Poland. So I flew to Miami. So I flew with Wendy to Phoenix. I met you. And then I took off to Miami the same day.
That's what I thought. So, and if I remember right, it was just on a whim. And you were kind of checking out because there were thunderstorms forecast along the way, right? So you were like, in your face, fear, and it was really cool. And you have flown back to your homeland twice now to Poland, and And you came, and Tom came again to support the other folks that were flying with us out of Burbank over the weekend, and he flew up there. Tom and Jim was a quasi mentor in between there. He flew with us. That was multiple time for you. And Priva, it was also back for return engagement. And then Tiffany's here as a extra special guest because she came and she was just warming up, getting her confidence up for the next time we go fly. Is that a pretty good way to describe that, Tiffany?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, I needed to kind of get used to just, going to the airport, getting on the plane. So yeah.
Yeah. And one of the people that couldn't make it tonight, Stacy, I'll talk, she was in the picture there and stuff like that. I have some pictures with her and all that. But anyway, so Priva, how about you wrote me maybe 2 weeks ago or something? You just out of the blue, you said, hey, you got any flights going? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, we do. So what was the story? Why did you want to go fly with us again?
Well, just a brief history of mine. I hadn't flown for 11 years. And then 3 years ago, I met you. We drove down to Phoenix and I met you and did the class with you. And it was the first time I was able to get on a flight. And then I tried a couple times with friends after that. And they kind of went okay. It was very scary. And then the pandemic hit and I thought, awesome, great excuse. I don't have to fly for a few years. And I just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And now I missed my family went to London over the summer and I didn't go. There's a lot going on. My daughter is competing in Florida and I couldn't go. And so I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I contacted you and you happen to have one soon. And I was surprised that I did it. And I just signed up quickly and did it. And like the seminar you have on Thursday, mine is not a fear of the plane per se of it crashing or turbulence. I am totally afraid of being trapped, like hugely claustrophobic and just really scared of that. But we went, and to say it helps to have other people feel the same way as you you just won't understand it unless you've been in it. Like, this is hard for me to do with my husband or with my friends, but to do it with a group of people that are like-minded and you're helping them through their fears and they're helping you, it's a different thing. And we flew on Saturday and I'm still laughing. I just feel euphoric. I mean, I've probably run off of my share of 5 or 6 airplanes, and to just do it and feel accomplished, I'm excited. I mean, I can't wait. I've only done the hour trips, so I'm not sure if I'm ready to go past that, but I'm ready to do that again, and I can't wait.
And what you mentioned, how important it is to connect with others. As a matter of fact, one of the fellows that flew with us, he had only become aware of this whole thing just barely before you did, and his name was Bob, and you came and immediately you guys connected with the same kind of thing and with the same kind of issues and stuff, and I know it was really helpful with him to have somebody like you who had been through that before and had similar issues. So
it helped me to have Bob there too, big time. I mean, yeah.
Well, let's move across to in my screen at least, Jim. So Jim, this is not your first rodeo either, right? You've been doing this before.
No, you and I have flown for a few times, and I don't like turbulence, so that's not something you can plan for. But this time this was a little extra because it was raining. And you and I talked about that before, and that made me a little nervous to fly in the rain because I thought.
Yeah. So tell everybody when you get up and you look up and you don't see you got a card, right? It's a blue card with a hole in it, and if the sky doesn't match the color of the card, then it sends off warning flares, right?
No, I mean, so it was gray and low fog, and it was raining, not heavy rain, but rain. And then my wife had told me that there was thunderstorms forecast for that day, and I just thought, oh man, I don't want to. As I had talked to you, I'd had a bad flight out of Denver once with a thunderstorm in the area, and that was my quote bad flight. Safe, obviously safe, but it was at the time traumatic for me. So when I see rain and weird weather, it sort of triggers that memory. But and even I was having the anxiety of like, I don't know if I want to take this flight. I don't know if I want to stay on this flight. But I was like, no, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And I'm glad I did, because there were a couple gurgles, and overall a good experience. So it's always a good experience when you get on the plane and your fears meet reality.
And I just want to share, when you called me up in the morning before, as I was just getting ready to go to the airport and laid out for me, seeing the rain and stuff, it just gave you a general feeling of discomfort, if I'm not mistaken. And it just, like you said, you kind of link everything to turbulence. If there's clouds, you relate turbulence. And so Jim and I had another conversation since I got back. When I came back, I was able to get on a flight out of Burbank coming back to Phoenix on Saturday evening after we flew over there. And the flight was delayed because Phoenix over here, we were just totally they were getting clobbered at Phoenix. And you can see that so on the flight back, we were delayed the airplane was delayed coming in there. So we're about 30 minutes late going out of here. And more so, I should have got the flight aware path here. So we ended up, instead of about an hour en route, it was an hour and a half. And so this is the kind of thing that Jim was ultimately worried about in the morning. So I thought we'd talk about this a little bit. And if you join us in the coaching webinar on Thursday night, we're going to touch on this as well, because these are the things that conjure up all the anticipatory anxiety. And when you look at this was just typically what we were seeing out the window. And we ended up flying way to the north, up almost over the Colorado-Arizona border, then to the east about halfway to Albuquerque, and then came around, skirted it, and came around in to the east. And I'll show you as we got down. We were starting to break out coming in from the east, and you can see all the weather was all up there to the right of the screen there, and that's what it looked like. And if you were to be in the back of the airplane, you would have probably been convinced that this was going to be one hell of a ride, and this is probably one of the smoothest rides I've ever had.
Ron, when you showed that picture, I was just like, that's spooky.
I know. And you get when you have a huge weather system like that, it's still hard to believe that if you were to superimpose this over a map of the state of Arizona, for example, it would probably still only cover about 20% of the state. So it's hard to believe how much airspace there is up there to start with. And then when you look out the window, what you see when you're in between layers here is you see all these weather systems and winds, the net effect of which is to create a lot of clouds. See this little wispy when you're, it's just, to me, it's a thing of beauty. And there was a lady sitting next to me in the seat, and she saw me taking pictures out the window, and not surprisingly, she started to talk to me about what was going on. I said, oh, well, I've got some people that I work with for flying. And of course, then she fessed up and said, well, I wasn't too crazy about this flight myself when we were late. And then when we got up here and I saw all these clouds, and then pretty soon she had her own camera out there, she started to appreciate the artwork in the clouds there and just the beauty of it. And we just had a fabulous time talking from there all the way down through touchdown. And she was just amazed as well how you could have something that looks so butt ugly, as we used to say, at face value, and yet how smooth it can be in there. And bear in mind that when you're in between where these cells have built and now are dissipating, all of the energy is kind of taken out of the air. And that's what makes it so calm for the most part. And I've got another slide here. I wanted to, again, you've probably seen this before. This is an artist's idea of how it would be to merge kind of an overlay. You can see that looks like a weather radar display, kind of. You can see the stuff on the ring circles here, which represent range. And then here's the airplane. And this is what you're seeing outside the window, like we were just looking at, all the clouds out here. And then these are the areas that you would see on the radar. And notice how in this airplane's 12 o'clock position, it looks rather ominous, right? I mean, it's dark. You get when you have all those clouds and you have high level clouds and low level clouds, you get the shadow being cast by the clouds and blocking out the sun. So some areas look virtually black, but they're really nothing more than clouds underneath the shadow of the sun. And so it's really misleading until you've flown quite a bit and have this. But you can see this is the display that they would have on their weather radar. The red area is the area of the most intense precipitation. The yellow is secondary in terms of precipitation, and the green would be the lightest area. And all of those they return that way, and then they're calibrated and color coded and all that, so that they show the strongest returns. And the strongest returns on the radar are those areas where there's the most moisture, because water will reflect the radar beam back to the transmitter better than anything. So again, it's really hard to predict, whether you're on the ground and you watch your weather report the night before, or the morning you go to the airport, or you get to the airport, you look up in the sky and you see all these clouds. You really can't anticipate what it's like. And here's one. I think I got these out of sequence, but this was a little bit higher as we approach the weather in the Phoenix area. And you can see all this out there. And for sure, you wouldn't find me out there drilling around those clouds without weather radar. In matter of fact, I mean, we're not even legal to do that. If the weather radar doesn't work, and we have even the slightest chance that we're going to be in an area where there's going to be weather, you're not authorized to take that airplane there. You got to get the radar fixed. And let's see. Oops, I got the blue, the beach ball of death here. There we go. And this is when we landed. We're taxiing back into the terminal, and now this is looking south at the Phoenix airport, and we just came in. All the weather that I just went through was up to the north, but you can see here, and it was we're probably within an hour of sunset or so there. And notice there's a huge system building off to the south of the Phoenix airport there. So it's about timing, and it's about skill and experience in interpreting the weather radar. And if we had gotten here and the weather had moved back in, and it was, they had decided to either restrict the number of arrivals here or to shut them off completely because they were under the influence of a thunderstorm overhead or something like that, we would have gone to an alternate. It might be Albuquerque, it might be Las Vegas, it could be any number of places, Tucson, and that's just how the game is played. I probably shouldn't call it a game, because it isn't a game to us. It's a very precise thing. So I'm always looking for ideas on things to do. These are still shots that I took here to create these slides. And what I'm thinking about is I've got videos. I'm actually thinking about linking a bunch of those videos together and just kind of, if nothing else, just provide a narrative with the video, so that maybe you're getting ready to fly, you can just look through there and kind of psych yourself up. And kind of get used to that. So anyway, any other comments or thoughts from anybody really, but Jim or anybody about that, the what I've just discussed? Okay.
No, that was interesting to see. I'd still be a little spooked if I saw that and I was on the ground.
Yeah.
But I might have a drink and still get on my plane.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, forget the fact that I'm a pilot. If I go to the airport to go to work and I look up and there's thunderstorms all over, it makes me think. right? I mean, that's what you want in a pilot. You want somebody who's diligent about his efforts and is vigilant about hazards and things like that. That's why we train and all that. So it's not like we don't notice it. You know, it's like clear our turbulence. It's not like I don't experience the same thing you do, and I'm subject to the same startle response and all that. But it's just that I've been there so many times before, and I have tools. Just like we try to give you tools to cope with your anxiety, we have tools to cope with the weather and the challenges and the risks that are out there in terms of aviation. So anyway, if there's no questions so far, I just want to focus a little bit on good old Tiffany. Not good old Tiffany. You're not even half my age, but I, you know, and I ask you to come on, and people are surprised when I ask people who end up not flying on a particular day, you know, and they'll say, well, why would you want me on there? And the reason I do is because this isn't something that's easy for everybody, and Jim and Priva, you know, everybody. It's not a day at the beach, you know. You sought us out for a reason. That is because you have this thing called flight anxiety, and so you and I had talked before, and we're going to talk tomorrow again, right,
Yes.
Tiffany? So
Yes.
this was a good experience. I think it was a good experience for you. And when you got to the airport, you want to just talk to us about, well, what it was like maybe the night before and when you got up that morning.
Yeah, so the night before, I actually I couldn't sleep. I set my alarm that morning. Well, I thought I set my alarm that morning. It didn't go off. So we were behind, trying to get the stuff into the car, drive to the airport. I left probably half my stuff in the car instead of putting it in my backpack like I should have. So I just felt like I wasn't mentally prepared. And so, you know, we got to the airport late and you guys were already there. And so I remember like kind of coming around that corner and I saw the airplane and I just kind of thought like, I don't think I can even get on.
Sure.
So I was just extremely nervous about the whole thing.
Yeah, and when we were talking there, I could tell, you know, and you have an expression, you know, the lights are on, but on the porch, but nobody's home. You know, I could see, no matter what I was saying, it was like you talking to the hand, Ron. I'm not here, and all that. And what I you know, I encourage you, and I'm glad I wasn't able to get your reaction because you exited out the back of the airplane, but I wanted to find out. I recommend people, even if you're not going to fly, to go ahead and board the airplane and then deplane, which is what you ended up doing, and only try to just change your state of mind into, I'm not getting off because I'm freaked out. I'm getting off because I choose not to fly today because this isn't the day for me to start. Okay. And I don't know whether you had that opportunity to do that, but you know, you have a good attitude, and the fact that you're smiling, the fact that you still talk to me when you got done is, you know, those are all positive things. And I can't remember anybody when we've had a class, a 301 class, where we've flown that got off the airplane or elected not to fly. I can't remember anybody who did not fly the next time that they tried. And it wasn't always with me. Sometimes they just went on about their business and they flew on their own. So I will offer that as a, you know, kind of a inspiration and hope for you, because it is a matter of feeling all of that anxiety and then you know, and then being overwhelmed by it and then coming back for another day. And I think Priva and Jim both, you know, that, I mean, it's still a challenge for them. And like, as Priva said, you know, when the pandemic hit and she didn't fly for a while, it's easy for all that to reset. And I just have the highest regard for people like all of you, particularly Jim and Priva, and in particular Stacy couldn't make it tonight, and Bob, but all of them. It was just awesome. It's just an unbelievable feeling for me to watch people go from where they are when they get there to where they get to be in a relatively short period of time on the airplane. And Priva, I don't know, how long did it take you to kind of feel that level of comfort again, that, you know, where it wasn't agonizing like you thought it was before?
It's agonizing.
Okay.
I would say, well, it's weird because when I try with my friends, it's still very agonizing.
Okay.
But when I booked it with you for the 2 weeks, I somehow knew I was going to feel safe and for sure do it with you and with a
Right.
group. It felt different. To Tiffany, I would say, like, if I'm ever late for anything or I
Yeah.
can freak myself out, and being there 45 minutes early and connecting with everyone, I think really helps, because then you're there for each other. And if you ever want to try again, like I said, I've been in your position 4 or 5 easily good times where I've exited a plane, and I would love to go with you if you ever want to try again, or, just let me know.
And we've got Wendy out there in Orange County. Wendy, this is a person that you may or may not have seen in the Facebook group, Priva, but she was flying. She did about, she flew over, I think she's flown like 60 times in the last year and 3 months or something like that. Yeah. Wow. She was just like you. She had not flown in, I don't know how many years before that. And then she had such a marvelous experience and breakthrough. Then she started flying with other people. So she's flown with at least 2 or 3 times with other members of the Facebook group and all that. So, and to me, it was a great model, and we're going to try to encourage that around the country as well, because it doesn't really matter as long as you can get in the airplane and feel comfortable and do all that. So again, my compliments to all of you. My thanks to you, Jim, to you, Priva, and you, Tiffany, for coming on and sharing all this. It never means the same if Dieter and I talk to people about it as it is coming from you guys. And it's the story we tell ourselves. And until something clicks in there, it's a challenge, no question about it. And it's one of the unique phobias, right? I mean, if you're afraid of spiders, you can inch closer and closer to a spider, but flying, man, sooner or later, you got to make the quantum leap and get on the damn airplane. And that's the hard part. And they close the door. I mean, that's why we're going to talk on Thursday about, don't trap me in this thing. Well, it's kind of hard to not trap you in there, because we don't want you leaving at 35,000 feet, because it's really bad for business. not to mention that for you. So anyway, I want to just remind everybody again, and I don't know if we emphasize it, but if we can get you to sign up for the membership beforehand and you decide it's not what you want, we'll refund your money. Okay. We're just trying to get this thing off the ground and get as much interest as we can and whatnot. Priva, you and I were talking about maybe even trying to squeeze in another flight before Thanksgiving or something. We'll talk about that. And if we can do that.
Please,
okay.
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
well, we may have a couple people that might also be interested as well, but really it's 2 things that when I was listening to also you, Tiffany, so I don't want you to feel excluded, but courage and trust. Those are the 2 virtues. Those are the 2 things that I really took away from listening to you. And the other thing is process. It's like keeping connected, staying connected, and that's one of the reasons why we come up with this continuity program, because we know that it is, for most anyways, we don't fly often enough, and so we go in these spits and spurts kind of thing. But with the membership program, we have monthly calls. There's going to be other content that run, like he said, the meditation that get added into. And I do want to have a shout out to Jeff. Jeff already just signed up for the lifetime VIP. So thanks, Jeff. And yeah, we're here. So just let us know any bugs or anything, because that's part of figuring it out. And the other thing I did want to mention, Tom, I think, also said that he's always available for anybody to reach out, and maybe for a flight or something like that, if you're looking for a partner buddy, and maybe we might even have a register of something like that, Ron, where people
Yeah,
like Wendy,
clearinghouse or
Tom,
something.
Priva, maybe Jim, you know, can at the very least be contacted by Fearless Flight, you know, supporters, members, reach out, you know, after they've either taken the 201 class or 301 class already, something like that, because it might actually help you guys as well to keep maybe flying. And I know those Southwest fares, sometimes they are so incredibly affordable, you know,
Yeah.
if you have the time for it. So yeah.
Yeah. So I want to thank all of you here and anybody who's ever put their trust in me. I really appreciate that. I hope I've always honored you. It's an incredible group of people that I've met over the last 35 years. It's nothing but fun when I'm hearing from people out there flying around today. Close the loop on one thing. I thought we're going to try to maybe put a trip to Hawaii together by the end of the year. Ain't going to happen. It's just not enough. But maybe in the first quarter next year, maybe before the spring break crowd goes. So because there are a number of people. Everybody wants to go to Hawaii. It seems like that's like the big bugaboo, and going across the water. So anyway, so thanks again to all of you tonight for joining us. Thanks to all of you out there, and we'll be back next week for another episode of Fearless Flight Live. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great evening and a great weekend. Bye-bye. See you Thursday, I hope. All right.
Yeah, see you